everybody. Thank you for joining our podcast again. I'm Jen Wills.
And I'm Ashley Steigerwald.
We have Barry back with us today. If you don't remember, he is from Wired Minds. Barry
Horst. She's been calling him Barry Horton. Horst. Horst.
Barry Horst from Wired Minds, and our special guest, Buzz. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we wanted to do a survival episode, which is just so exciting.
Jen's a little nervous. She called me yesterday. She's like, you're gonna have to talk on this because I have nothing to add to this conversation.
So you have the camps throughout the summer, and this was one of the specialty camps.
Yeah, every summer we have two camps where Buzz comes in, and like Buzz is an insane expert on survival. And really, I have nothing to add to this. It's all Buzz.
So I feel like today is going to be Ashley and Buzz speaking.
It's beginning to look that way, yes. These two want no part of this.
I have nothing to offer. Nothing.
So talk to us, Buzz. How are you, Buzz, the survival expert?
How did I become one?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I survived the military for 38 years.
Mm-hmm.
I ran for the Army National Guard in the state of Washington for 7 years. I redid the survival classes, search and rescue classes, and then we became the logistics center for the Boy Scouts, Ski Patrol, 4x4 Club, King County Police Department, and the State Office of Emergency Services for those things that they can't do, like helicopters and fuel delivery at 4,000 feet on a dirt road.
Wow. I was like Googling yesterday. It's like how to survive. And the top two things that came up were a zombie apocalypse and bears.
I was like, bears is legitimate. Zombie apocalypse, not so much.
And I actually think I knew the answer to the bears one. I think you're supposed to act like real big.
Depends on the bear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
true? Well, I'm already dead.
A grizzly bear or Kodiak bear doesn't care how
That's
big
right.
you are because he's bigger than that.
Yep.
So what
but
kind
like
of
a black bear. If it was a
bear?
black bear,
You act big?
Make noise and
they usually stay
try
away.
to put something between you and him. or her.
Okay.
Yep. And usually hers worse because there might be cubs.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But any wild animal with cubs is just like a lady with a baby.
Yeah.
It's twice as
Dangerous.
The claws do come out.
Yeah.
So do you talk about any of that in the camp?
What do you
Like,
teach these kids?
what-
Like,
yeah.
are they going to come home like clawing like fish out of the rivers? And
So one of the really cool things that Buzz does is it's not just how do you survive like in the wilderness, because like kids, yeah, sure, you might maybe end up in the wilderness and get lost, and I mean that happens, but like real things,
Okay.
and it's hard to even talk about like how do you survive, because I think we talked about this last podcast. If there, heaven forbid, there's a school shooting, like how do you want to be prepared and never have to use any of these skills,
yeah.
then just end up not being prepared and
So
being
what do
a
you go
victim.
over in that situation? I feel like that is a really important.
Yeah, it's super terrifying.
Yeah.
So what do they do, Buzz?
You got two basic choices. You can be defensive or offensive.
Mm-hmm.
If you forget the government authorities and whatnot, and you just think about yourself, because if there's one person that's trying to do harm to you and you're in a closed area with 30 people, you outnumber them. If they got a pistol, they got 7 shots, 9 shots, 10 shots, 17 shots. It's a limited number. And if 30 people all attacked, most of them are going to survive.
Right.
So if they did nothing but throw that lamp at them, if I picked up 30 objects in here and threw it at you at the door, you might not be able to take real good aim. And so that's the offensive side. Getting in a corner and hiding or putting your desk around yourself,
Yeah.
that's a target-rich environment.
Right.
All the targets are in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's no threat to the shooter. So, and somebody's going to make that choice.
Yeah.
It would be great if the leader did, because then you could have a plan. You know, if you took one of your cords and put it across the door, So whoever came into the room tripped. Now you got to shoot it or it's laying on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Wow, stuff
So-
like that you don't even think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's great because I think when you don't have any information, that's when you just kind of freeze.
In 5 hours and one overnighter, it's real hard to teach 70 years of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we use the acronym the Boy Scouts use to STOP,
Mhm.
and that is just stop, sit down, and think about what you're doing, observe what's going on, and come up with a plan. And that doesn't take 30 minutes. That can be a very quick motion. The worst thing you can do is panic,
Mm-hmm.
because then you don't have a plan. You don't have anything. You're just
Right.
running around screaming.
Yeah.
And you will end up in a disaster.
It's that fight or flight response. It's getting out of that for a moment to get your head start moving.
Get out of
Yeah.
that right away. And that's the whole thing about sitting down.
Yeah.
Is just stop where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're lost and you keep moving, you're just getting more lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
That would be me. I have no sense of direction. It's like really weird. Like that part of my brain doesn't exist.
yeah, when you're searching for somebody, you do a grid search,
Mhm.
and you're coming in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days after they got lost. And if they keep moving, instead of being on the Diwali Trail, they went left 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they're 20 miles off to the left.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got no idea where to look.
So your advice is if someone's lost,
Just
just
stop.
remain and
Yep.
stay.
Stop right where you're at, because you're not going to get any worse than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
If you keep moving, now later on, you've got to make that choice to move.
Right.
I mean, we have the rule of 3. You got 3
Mm-hmm.
seconds to not panic. It takes about that long to sit down.
Yeah.
You got 3 hours to build a shelter. You got 3 days to find water. You got weeks and hours. All that adds up. But just take care of what's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to find water. No, you don't. You got to eventually, after 3 days, you're not going to be able, probably not going to be able to be searching for water.
Mm-hmm.
So get a shelter, get out of the weather, look for water.
It's like that show Naked and Afraid.
You guys talked about that last time.
Except clothes.
If
Except
that can
clothes.
keep you alive for 3 days, then we should be able to find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't gone anywhere, then it becomes a matter. What do you wear when you go hiking?
Mhm.
What do you plan? What's the best knife? That's a joke. The best knife's the one you got.
Yeah.
The $400 knife that you left in the drawer,
Doesn't matter.
it's not worth very much where you're at.
Yep.
So it's not the most expensive tool or device. It's what do you have? What did you plan on taking with you? Obviously, you want to take water and a snack.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a snack, but everybody wants one. So
I always want to stay.
yeah, take water, take a snack.
Yeah.
But rope, if you're going to build something, but does it have to be rope? Can it be fishing line that's real small? Anything that you might need, a knife is great, because if you got a line, you got to cut it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
or you're going to be chewing it in half, or take 2 rocks and beat it to death.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you got to pick what you want to take. If you're like me, you want it to be small and light.
Yeah.
See, Ashley like knows all this because you're going. She recently was like, next summer I'm going on a girls' trip. I was like, ooh, excited.
Next fall, probably. Next fall.
Fall.
Girls trip. We're going to do we're looking at it up at the High Adventure Scout Base up northern tier. It's right boundary waters between Minnesota and Canada. So it'll be a 12-day canoe trip. And she's like, where's the hotel? And I was like, no, it's whatever you carry on your bag.
Well, a canoe trip, then it's also going to be watertight.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting. So
Fun.
get my portage on, carry my canoe, because you have to carry it part ways. You're not canoeing the whole time. You have to portage
You have to carry a canoe.
sometimes to get from one lake to the next body of water. You have to portage.
You have fun with that.
You have better things to do.
I feel like with 3 boys, like that being like my vacation, it just doesn't sound right.
Well, when I was in New Mexico a couple weeks ago, and we do a class on there about like how to potty in the woods for like women who have never done backpacking before.
So what do you do?
You potty in the woods. Like there's a special way to squat, and there's a special way to hold your pants so you don't pee on your pants.
This is from some drinking days in the woods. Sorry, I think I got that.
And like you don't want to dig your cat hole too close to water. Like there's lots of different things. A cat hole. You use a little shovel, and you poo in the hole and then cover it up. And then you have to pack your paper out with you because you can't leave the paper there. So you pack your paper out.
You can take special.
There's
paper.
biodegradable, yeah.
Biodegradable.
But depending on what it is, you may have to pack it out with you.
Well, every night I'll cheers to you in the woods.
Yeah, one of the Boy Scouts always leave it better than you found it.
That's right. Always leave it better than you found.
Everything you took in
Do you
plus
still
whatever you
volunteer?
found on the way.
Yep, that's exactly right. Do you still volunteer with Scouts?
Yep.
You do? What do you do for Scouts now?
Not anymore. No.
Oh, now
I was
you do.
Scoutmaster for a while. I did 350 milers with them.
See, you're in trouble now that I know you're involved in Scouts. So am I.
She's very involved in Scouts.
Okay. No, I did. Well, I was part of the Order of the Arrows.
Okay. Oh, you're in
You would know that one.
I do.
So what's your new title?
Locally, I'm the council commissioner, but I also serve on the National Scouts BSA committee. So,
Okay.
yes. So you're in trouble now that I know you volunteered for Scouts. We're getting you back in. Search and rescue merit badge. Like, you're in. You're so in trouble now.
Yeah. When I started a program in the military, we used the SEER people out of Fairchild Air Force Base.
Mhm.
They taught the pilots how to survive. And you want to see 60 12-year-olds be absolutely silent, just have a bunch of snake-eating, big knife guys in camouflage uniform with all their war paint on. Okay, now this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Do you know what he's talking about? No, but I'm doing
But I'll
it.
do it.
I have nightmares of being trapped in the car in water. That is a recurring nightmare I have of like a
We got
bridge
3
or like
minutes to find air.
That's like one of my biggest nightmares.
Are you supposed to break the glass?
With what?
A little pointy object?
You're gonna find it after you've like wrecked your car in a lake?
The old adage was you wait until the water got all the way up so the pressure went
Yeah.
off, and then you roll the window down.
Well, now
Can't
you
do that
can't.
in
I
electric
know.
cars.
Exactly.
They short out and the window won't come down.
So
Exactly.
what do you do?
Then you got to open the door. So it doesn't
Against
matter.
the weight of the water.
Or roll the window down as soon as possible.
It's one of my
When you may
nightmares.
have electricity.
That's such an odd nightmare. That's like nothing I've
sorry.
ever thought about.
And now you will. You're welcome. My nightmare is
they
all
do
of yours
make
now.
those little pointy things.
Always remember to take off your seatbelt.
Yep. Yeah. They do have those pointy things that you push it and it pulses and breaks the window, but are you going to be able to find that in a moment of sheer panic as your car is filling with water and you're trying to get your children out of their car seats? This is my nightmare. You can tell I've thought about this
Where
a
is
lot.
water around here?
It's just maybe it's because I'm from Florida.
Yeah,
And there was more water there, but
Right.
yeah, it's one of my nightmares. That's like whenever I see people
Do you have
driving
a
into.
list of them things?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think when you become a parent, you start worrying about random things like that, though.
Yeah.
All the ways that like my children can die.
Yeah.
I'm not the only person.
No,
Am I?
You go
Okay.
there. You go there. I'm like very nervous around water, like the
In
pool
general.
and
Yeah.
like Sunday. Bo just like he's 19 months. He just like walked off the side, just walked into
do.
the pool.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. And then he got out of the pool and wasn't even crying. And I was like, why are you scared? Wasn't this going to be a teachable moment? We don't walk into the pool because he won't wear wings or like a life jacket. He won't wear anything. So yeah. And the beach, I always get nervous. Like Bennett's like lost his fear of, he loves to go out, and in my head it's sharks. Ooh, sharks. How do you survive a shark attack?
You're not.
Stay
gonna-
away from
Yeah, you're not.
I think you poke their eyes.
I don't. Are you gonna really in the moment be? That's like people always like, which kind of snake is it? And it's like, well, what is the shape of its head? I'm not getting close enough to find out. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna back away from it.
their eyes are sort of on the side of their heads.
I'm not
So
gonna
you,
get
like,
that
Sticking
close.
your hand out with an oncoming open mouth is.
Chin's gonna be.
I think all you're doing is put dessert out there in front.
I did read that somewhere.
That you poke its eyes.
Poke its eyes.
Or the nose. There's just the whole front of the shark is supposed to be more sensitive, so you just
Yeah.
uppercut it and then punch it in the nose. and then you can try to poke its eye. It's a
As it's
hammerhead.
biting
Jin's
your
gonna be
leg.
like trying to.
Yeah. And like an alligator, you're supposed to run diagonal, I think.
What?
Did I?
What do you think? That's if you're being
I'm
shot
not
at.
from the South,
Yeah,
so
if you're
I never
shot
heard
at.
that one.
If
Oh,
you-
I swear, someone needs to Google that. If like apparently alligators can run really
they're
fast,
they can.
but they can't turn fast.
I've heard that about rhinoceroses.
Rhinoceri?
Rhinoceri?
Rhinos.
I-
Sisters.
Rhino-
Rhinos.
I own a tutoring center. I don't know.
Rhinos.
Aren't you supposed to be a
You don't
survival
tutor English.
expert?
Bert? Bert?
Survival expert.
Oh, a survival expert. I thought you called me Bert. I mean, I was going with like the whole Horton thing, and I thought we're going derailed. No, that's Buzz. Buzz is
Buzz
the
is
expert.
survival expert.
No.
But they do an overnighter. The kids at the camp do an
Yeah.
overnighter.
Oh, so
do
much
they
fun.
do like a primitive? They make a primitive shelter and sleep in it overnight.
Lately, they've been going with tents.
Oh,
but
that's not
That's about
fun.
as primitive as you can get because none of them know how to put up one.
My kids do.
We spent the
What?
entire afternoon putting up everybody's tent.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's most of what Barry brings to me is kids that have not been in the woods overnight.
Gotcha.
So it's more the getting away from mom. Well, I got to call mom and make sure that she's okay. Okay, all righty. But
Mom, I want to come home.
that's
Yeah.
that has happened more than once.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And it's very interesting what dark does to people and their sense of security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's what was that sound?
Yeah.
A dog barking? Often, sure, it's not a bear or a coyote.
Right.
Bears don't bark.
Not over by Riverside High School. We're good over here.
Yeah, it's more just the experience of being there.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning, it's
Fine.
well, that's not that bad.
Right.
No, especially when we got to wake you up and you're sound asleep.
Right.
You know, you didn't suffer at all last night, did you? Don't remember last night.
But that's
Yeah.
that's the fear for a lot of women going into the woods alone, like doing solo backpacking and others. It's the fear, and most of the time, like we always, a friend of mine, her name is Jen Thies, and she has a blog called The Wandering Pine. It's amazing, The Wandering Pine. She's a like unbelievable outdoors woman, but she uses the term fear equals weight. And so what you're afraid of, you're going to overpack for. So it's sometimes breaking through those fears, because if you're afraid that, somebody's going to attack you, you're going to carry a weapon, and, that's, 5 pounds that you weren't carrying before. And then all of a sudden your pack weight is, way up high.
Instead of a 2-ounce
Exactly.
flashlight that will show you in the dark what's in your tent.
Yeah.
They got a 4.5-pound self-defense weapon that's got 14 batteries in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because my flashlight's about that long.
Yeah. But it's
Or
very,
my phone.
it's very empowering to go out alone. Like if you've never done like a solo backpack trip you should start doing just a backpack trip and then do a solo one. I should make you go camping with the girl troop.
We debrief with the kids
Yeah.
the next day, Friday morning.
What did you not use?
Well, no, we talk about, how many of you had some level of anxiety, and some of the kids, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's some that are really honest and like, yeah, I was anxious about this, and so they kind of come out with their fears, and so now how do you feel that you've made it through the night, and this is what we do even when we're tutoring.
Yeah.
Like you how did you feel beforehand, and now how do you feel now, and that sense of empowerment that success
Yep.
is just like, whoa, yeah, I made it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. And so I'm going to make a plug for Wired Minds with the tutoring. But the same premise holds with I'm scared of math, or I hate history or science or whatever. Some kids is legitimately fearful. Like
Yeah.
it causes anxiety. And okay, so now that you understand it, now that you've made it through this concept, how do you feel now? And like literally just this past couple days ago, I was working with this girl who was very concerned, scared of her multiplication. And so we spent a good bit of time, playing games, understanding this. Now, how do you feel? I feel so much better.
Yeah.
It's actually fun. Dare I
Mhm.
say it's fun,
Mhm.
It is fun.
And I just being able to be successful at something
Yeah.
that promotes that success
Mhm.
and the enjoyment.
We teach them simple things like how to start a fire, because kids aren't allowed to start fires.
Right.
You know, so you got to start a fire with one match, and that's it. That's all you get.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they can do it. You know, you got to show them the steps, but that's not a problem. You can find food to eat. One of the simple things we do is we teach them boil water, then we make pine needle tea.
Mhm.
Kids don't drink tea or coffee. You know,
Right.
it's strange. Well, you want to try it? Well, no, but there'd be one that does.
Yeah.
And then 4 hours later, they all want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to try it. Well, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's one of the simplest things. You know, you're just boiling water and adding a flavor to it. And they're going, well, this is great. Yeah. And that would keep you for about 4 days
Oh, wow.
because
Yeah.
you just made your water supply. Food's not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they're
So-
going,
Other topics, like I know we talked about like the school shooting. What other topics do you cover? Some in the camps?
the rule of 3, you got 3 minutes to get air. Water's obviously, but you also got fire and smoke,
Mm-hmm.
which can happen just about anywhere. You go into car disasters. What are you going to do next? You know, after the initial crash
Mm-hmm.
and you survived it, what's the next danger? Well, what do you mean? What about the car behind you?
Exactly.
What
Yeah.
about the car to your left and your right? Are they stopped? Are they slowing down? It's that think about it before you react. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna open the door and run out
Right.
on a freeway where everybody's doing 90 miles an hour. You know, it's not a real good plan until the noise goes down.
Right.
So just think about what you want to do and what the replication would be of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's being situationally aware. Like when
Yeah.
I walk into a restaurant, I'm like, "Where's the door? I'm gonna sit where I can see the door. Where's my secondary exit?" Do you think I think about that before I walk into any place? Is
I
how
think a
am I
lot
gonna
of
get
people with
out?
like PTSD, like
Well, that's
army
a very,
people do.
Yeah.
very
that a lot.
military people. I want my
I've
back
always, yeah,
against the wall. I want to know where the exit is.
yeah,
And one, because maybe I want out. And what we teach kids, if there's a big fire in here
Mm-hmm.
and everybody runs for that door and there's 30 people,
Mm-hmm.
how many are going to die at the door because they can't get out?
Right.
So if there's another exit back there
Yep.
and everybody's going this way,
Right.
the best plan's that way.
Yeah.
Like she said, besides that window, it's an exit.
yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't ever think like that.
I do. I don't know. I'm just paranoid.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
paranoid.
And that's fire or
Yeah.
any other threat that's
Mhm.
coming at a area that you got to know where the exit. Movie house.
Yeah.
You know, there's 3 exits all the time.
I
3
do
or
have a real fear of like spiders.
Little tiny spiders or like
Like just
spiders in general.
yeah.
Oh.
Like that's
They
probably
eat the mosquitoes and the bad bugs.
They can
I'm
bite
always
you.
like, only like a couple kind. Most of the
Ah.
spiders, every time I see like a spider outside a window, I'm like, you go eat the mosquitoes. You got this.
fire ants.
Fire ants, no. But what you were saying about, teaching, the kids don't know how to start a fire or their parents don't let them, use a pocket knife or something. So all of my kids are in Scouts, and you said you were a Scoutmaster, so you'll appreciate this. One of the things that I love about Scouts is that we use the EDGE method for teaching. So you explain, demonstrate, guide, and then enable them to do that. And then the biggest thing on Scouts is then the Scouts teach each other. And when you talked about that empowering moment, like it's so cool to see a new Scout, and it's their first time using flint and steel, and they
Is that for fire?
Yep, to get the sparks. They'll you teach them dry tinder and all of that. And the second they finally get something smoking or lit, they're so excited, and they can't wait to then teach somebody else. So we use the phrase is game with a purpose. So they think that they're just having fun, but there's actually a purpose behind it, and they learn the leadership through doing these fun activities. So all of a sudden they learn something really cool, like how to whittle something or use an axe or whatever it is. And then when they teach somebody else, they don't realize that they're gaining those leadership skills. And then all of a sudden it's like 2-3 years later, they're a totally different kid than when they first started in the program.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing is seeing, and there's just something about being outdoors. especially with the kids, with so much screen time happening, just to get the kids outside. It's just, and being bored. Like at some point during the camping trip, they get bored, and that's the mother of invention. Like every stick is a toy, you know. Like there's just something about kids outside and
my
sticks.
boys are like, we're very like,
you are
go outside,
yep.
go outside. We're outside. You know, we have dirt piles and all the stuff. But yeah. I mean, I think inside is when they go crazy, and outside's when they like build stuff.
Yeah, but people are afraid. They're like, oh, I don't want to give my kid a pocket knife. It's like if you teach them to use it responsibly, then they have respect for the tool. Or if they know how to start a fire, they're like, oh, they're going to they're going to light the house on fire. No, they're not, because they're going to know how it works and they respect it.
Well, yeah, the opposite of that is they don't know how to start a fire, and they light a candle and then drop it on the rug.
True. Yep. Exactly.
You know, well, I didn't know it was going to catch the rug on fire.
You've never let me do it before.
I didn't know that. Now I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. No, there's certain skills that you do have to learn.
Right.
And they will learn it eventually. You just want
Where
it
do you want
under
them to learn it?
controlled
That's
conditions.
From where you want them to learn
true.
it, right?
Yeah.
So true.
But what you were saying, we had a 5-year-old girl that came to our camp in Spokane, and she was a real mama's girl. She was not going to get out from behind mom, didn't want to do this. And mom was a military wife, so she, follow the leaders. I'm going home. You're on your own. And she, for like 3 days, was just slowly getting out of her shell. And then we did rappelling down off a fairly steep bank, probably 45-degree slope. And we modified a chair for her, and she went all the way down, and they came back about halfway up and stopped. And when she stopped, these Air Force big shots, the one at the top, the one on the bottom, both immediately were right there. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And nothing. Well, what do you mean? Well, I'm tired. Well, everybody up above is waiting for their turn. Well, they're just going to have to wait. I'm tired. And from that point on, she was, her own person from then on. It was, I've got my abilities, and I know how, when I'm tired, I know when I'm okay. And I'm going, 3 days ago, you weren't anywhere near that point in time.
Yep.
And it was mostly just being forced to do things on your own.
Out of your comfort zone, something new, trying something new.
That's when you
being
grow.
Being a little bit scared and then getting through it anyway. So
Yeah, because
important.
once you're a little bit scared, the next step is you're not scared of that anymore.
Yeah.
Once you know something, you're not scared of what it was.
That's right. Fear of the unknown. Yep.
That's the biggest fear there is.
Yep.
What might happen. Like you said in the very beginning.
Right.
What might happen. There's no guarantee it will, but it
Right.
might.
Yeah.
So when do you offer the camps? Wired Minds.
Like during the summer?
Yeah.
Or whenever.
All summer.
All
And
summer.
every
Okay.
week is something different, a
Right.
different focus. And one of the things we really try to do is give kids an experience that they wouldn't get elsewhere. So, I mean, having Buzz come in for 2 weeks, I mean, oh my goodness, it's amazing. Now, could they get something similar probably from Scouts? Yeah. But I mean,
But there's a lot of people who wouldn't even try Scouts because they're afraid, but then they go and have an
But they
experience
come
like that.
And
Yes.
they see Buzz and they're like, whoa, oh my goodness. And then so a couple of weeks ago we had, I think we talked about the guy that was like this bee expert, and he kind of came in, and I've got pictures that we posted on Instagram of these kids that, like, one girl had her ear to this mobile hive, and she's like, oh my goodness. And he's explaining all this cool stuff about bees, and one of them had gotten out, and it had stung something. None of the kids were all safe. But the kids were all so sad because they're like, oh, it's gonna die. And they started really becoming like compassionate all of a sudden, like when they had been fearful of bees, now they had this understanding, fear of the unknown, right? And then so like we've got the bee guy, and then this week we've got video game, like we've got the number, like he's probably gonna dispute this, but he's like the #1 player in the world for, I think the character is like Pip or something on Super Smash. I don't know. I don't do Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But he's like the #1 player in the world, certainly like top 5 in the world for that character. And he's coaching our kids like right now while we're here. He's coaching these kids of, okay, this is how you want to move and this, and the other. And then next week we've got we've got a couple electricians coming in.
Oh, that's
We've
great.
got an economist coming in to talk to the kids because they're going to start their own businesses next week.
That's cool.
Like
Oh,
their
that's
mock
great.
businesses.
Yeah.
Like every week, every summer we do a start your own business. I mean, I'm kind of partial to entrepreneurs, right? And so we give every kid $5, and they get to do whatever they want with those $5. And we have a market, and the kids can buy things from each other. They can buy products, services. Some kids go out and they purchase stuff, and then they resell it at a profit. Some kids they make bank, and other kids
Wow.
they just all $5 are gone, and it evaporates. But it's a really good experience because
Yeah.
if they don't learn it, where they will eventually, they'll learn eventually how to manage their money. And how do you want them to learn that? Like when I taught second grade, every kid got a weekly allowance of fake Mr. Horst money, right? And they had to pay rent on their desk. They had to pay rent for their chairs.
That's great.
And they would have money left over that they could then use on Fridays to buy stuff. And some kids they would get their paycheck on Friday. And this was very purposeful. They would get their paycheck on Friday, then we'd have the market. And so some kids spent all their money. And then Mondays when you had to pay rent. We had weeks where kids did not have desks or chairs. They're standing behind their desk. They're like, oh. But, I want them to learn, you've got to pay for your car. And if you don't pay for your car, my neighbor is going to pay you a visit because he's a repo guy. And I don't ever want him to pay me a visit other than to say, hey, how you doing? These are lessons that kids need to learn, and where I think they should learn it in a fun way and in a safe way, right?
Yeah.
We used to, I don't think we're doing it this year, but last year and the year, like historically, we've literally blown things up. And we talked about that last podcast where we would blow up a watermelon. We made one year, and I'm not going to say everything that we did because I'll get in trouble. But we did some crazy stuff. Now we kept it totally, totally safe, but where are kids going to get these experiences?
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
I think it's tremendous that kids understand how do explosions work, and let's be a part of that and see, wow, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And if there was a fire, how to survive it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're going to be teaching some merit badges coming up, right?
I have to look at that.
Okay. I'll be in touch.
Well, thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I know. I really want people to check out your place.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's-
Yeah, let me give that phone number.
Yes.
Right?
Number 2.
So
Call
number 2.
Wired Minds.
All right. And again, all of your people get discounts.
Woohoo.
So what did we say last time?
50% off.
I don't think I
No.
said
I
that.
think it was 85% off.
85% off. Yes, you're going to get me in so much trouble.
You can cut that.
I think we said 10%.
Sure.
10%.
Sure.
Well, let's do 15. We'll be daring
Ooh.
because
Do 16.
Katrina will kill me. She does not want to calculate that. 15% off. And if you call 864-324-4563, then that's the number that's exclusively for this podcast.
Oh.
And if you call that number, then we'll know that it was from here, and then you automatically get that discount. You probably still want to say something just
in
to
case.
make everybody's life a little bit easier. But yeah, 15% off of everything, whatever.
That's great.
And Wired
Camps.
Minds is located where?
Right across the street from Riverside High School in Greer,
Yep.
South
Yep.
Carolina.
Yep.
Great.
I'm
Thank you
super.
both for coming. It was so
It's
nice to meet you.
So much
Thanks,
fun.
guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Of course.
And thanks for having me back. I
Yes.
love this.
Yes.
I know.
Can
Too
you?
much fun.
And what are you wearing?
Oh, funny you should ask. So we got these swag T-shirts made, and
They're
we
very
are
soft.
They're very soft. We got the soft material, and we are going to give it to the Ronald McDonald House. All proceeds.
Yes, the proceeds, not the T-shirts. They don't want our shirts.
They don't want our shirts. All proceeds will be given to the Ronald McDonald House, and we're
Yep.
going to jump on Facebook, do a live, and just give a little more details on
Yep.
that. But
Yep.
yeah, so we wanted to support that charity, and thank you guys again. We are grateful to our sponsors, and we want to give a shout out to Lisa Johnson with Fairway Mortgage, Wilson Associates Real Estate, Parham Smith Arch and Hold, and Blackacre Law. So thank you everybody for your support, and we look forward to seeing you next time.